Okay, we're going to run through a brief explanation of how these UV5R radios, their ham and walkie-talkie channel frequencies that are available. We're going to go through and explain how they operate and the basic functions of them. If you will notice on the screen, the first thing that you need to do is turn the radio on. So right up here, on the top, you have your on-off button. Okay, it's set right now on neighborhood NEIGH and all Round Valley, all RV. We recommend that you keep it on those channels because if you had an emergency or a quick need to contact someone, the best people typically would be your closest neighbors or someone else in Round Valley that might be able to hear you as well. Now we want to run through what the different things are on the radio. Obviously we did the on-off button. The first thing around that you do is this orange button at the top has two functions. One is it's a FM radio that basically is set currently on the 106.7 channel in Springerville, or excuse me, Show Low, but you can change the channel simply by moving the up and down keys. So if you do that, you can change channels. Okay, so that's the first thing that you can do. The second aspect of this radio, of the orange button key, if you hold it in, it then becomes an alarm. So you can use that if you had an emergency you needed to have that available. So, okay, so as we go down then through more, the next one is the push to talk key. You need to talk to be able to do that. You have to push it in and hold it in and keep it in while you talk. You need to wait about a half a second before you start talking so it doesn't cut off your words, and then send your transmission of what you need to say, and then wait about a half a second before you release that button. That way you'll have clear transmission. The third part of the side of this radio is the flashlight key, and that allows you to have a flashlight, and if you push it again, it's a strobe light. So that's that. You push it to turn it off. Okay, now as we go through the radio, and you can look at the different functions, and I'm going to point out a few of the keys. This orange VF and MR button you can completely ignore. The band button over on this side you need to ignore. This menu button down here you really need to ignore. It's right on the keypad, but above the one. If you erroneously hit that, you could wipe out everything you have in your radio, so you don't ever want to mess with that button. The exit button over here you don't need, and the rest of them are number keys, and really in our operation the only thing you're typically going to need is that pound key down at the bottom, and I'll explain that to you. That basically is the lock unlock. I'll have to turn it up to be able to hear that.
Unlock.
Okay, and
Lock.
you want to keep your radio locked at all times on the channels you want, and then unlock it only to change channels or from the AB, which we'll talk about in a second. But then after you've done that, you want to make sure you lock it back. That will keep you from being able to mess anything else up. But so this last area over here is for your speaker and mic jacks. You're provided, you can plug it in, and then you'll be able to use a headphone speaker, and also it has a talk function on it as well. So those are the basic functions. Now we'll show you how to utilize the radio from channel to channel. For our drill Sunday night, where we're going to do all the radios in Round Valley, everyone will be on the All RV channel. Now, this radio allows you to listen to two channels but you can only broadcast on one. And since we're going to be broadcasting and the neighborhood coordinators need to be able to respond, you need to be able to broadcast initially on the All RV channel. So the way you do that is you come in and unlock it.
Unlock.
And then you press the A-B button. Now, if you'll notice up here on the top, that changes between the top channel and the bottom channel, A and B. Now, to be able to transmit, the radio only transmits on where the cursor is. So if we're having a drill where we're doing all around valley, you need to set it on all around valley and then lock it.
Lock.
Okay, then you can't mess anything up, and you'll be able to talk, you'll be able to hear and transmit back. Now, after our brief run through of the neighborhood coordinators, it'll take 7 to 10 minutes tops. Then at that point, we want all neighborhood coordinators to be able to change back and have their little neighborhood drill. And so to do that, you both unlock it again.
Unlock.
And then change the AB channel back to neighborhood. And then that will allow you to transmit and receive. Now, all the small talkie radios that we have out in the community, they will simply just have to turn the knob. They'll start out on channel 2, and then when it's time for to do their own neighborhood, they change it back to channel 1 with the knob, and it tells you what channel you're on. So, but with these radios, you want to be able to go ahead and broadcast where the cursor is. Now, lastly, one thing that you want to make sure you can do is also be able to change channels on these radios. There are several pre-programmed channels, and I'm going to go ahead and unlock it again.
Lock.
Nope. Unlock it.
Unlock.
Okay, and see, I made a mistake. I should have, once I went to the other, I should have locked it. But it's unlocked now. These two triangular keys down here on the radio just above number 2 and number 3 are up and down keys. And they allow you to scroll through what you have programmed into your radio already. Now, the first one up on these radios, and they can be done in different orders and everything else when you program them, but on these particular radios, the first thing is basically the cluster, or you can name it, like this one is named for the ward, or you can do it family, or you can do it kids, or you can name it whatever you want to name it when you program it. But I'll show you right now as you go through this by pressing the down arrow on this one. It changes it to ward, and then it changes it to Springerville Fire Department, and then Eager Fire Department, and then it goes to the police department. Now, the fire department and the police department and that, you can't talk on regardless of where your cursor is because it's not programmed to be able to respond. But you can monitor all of those, and a lot of people do monitor the police and fire department channels just to know what's going on. Then another one basically is NOAA, which the NOAA channel is the weather channel.
Forecast for the White Mountains, including the cities of Show Low, Greer, and Pinetop. Today, partly cloudy early.
This is the government's radio channel, and it's 24/7. It allows you to know what's going on weather-wise throughout the entire White Mountains. And then if you continue on,
40,
you see on there that says ISO Z, and you can continue down all the way to ISO A. There are 26 ham radio channels that are programmed into this that you absolutely are not legal to use unless you are licensed. And if you're licensed, you can use them. In an officially declared emergency, they're there, and then they would be available channels that if all other communication everywhere is down, then you have access to those. But then also, below those channels, you have 14 walkie-talkie channels. So if you continue to scroll through that, and I'll do it very quickly so you'll see, if you hold it in, it'll actually run through quickly. Okay, and so it's going all the way through. And now you've got walkie-talkie channels.
1314.
And see, you've got 14 of those. So anyway, so we'll go back now to your neighborhood channel. But you can hit any.
Frequency mode.
Now, see, I hit that.
Channel
You can
mode.
change it back, but it wasn't good.
1, 2, 2.
Okay. And I'm
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
okay. Okay. And that shows you can go all over the place. But we now are back to the original where we want to keep it
1, 1, 2.
on neighborhood
1, 1, 3.
and all RV. Now, typically, the thing you want to make sure you know on this is when you are turning it off, you want to make sure that if it's going to be off for any extended period of time, that you fully charge it. And you do that by putting it in your charger tray. And you basically want to make sure you have the radio turned off or it can overheat. And then you also, when you store it, you want to make sure that it's completely turned off. So those are the key functions and points of the radio. You can go through them. It's a good idea to practice and see what you're doing and how to do it. But we believe that as we have these radios available, if we ever did need them for a serious communication effort, we have a great communication plan in place. So thank you for listening in, and hope you enjoy your radio, and we will look forward to future drills. Just by way of announcement, we will have a drill the first Sunday night in September and in October at 5 o'clock, and then we'll go to quarterlies in January, April, July, and October. So thank you so much.